Hello, I'm Daniel Levy. This is In the Pocket here on National Sports. We're going to be talking some NFL today, and our topics will include today's biggest story. Maurice Jones-Drew ends his holdout, but he won't start week 1. We're going to start there. Then we're going to talk a little bit about Seattle's situation, because I think that there's a lot of interesting things going on with the Seahawks. Then we're going to talk about the replacement refs and what the situation is there, because I personally think it's absolutely ridiculous that these two parties can't come to agreement. And then I'm introducing a new segment here on In the Pocket. Dan's Top 10. We'll be doing this from time to time, and it's basically what it sounds like. I'm going to be taking a topic and giving you my top 10 things about that. Today's topic will be quarterbacks. So, let's get started. I'm going to start by talking about Maurice Jones-Drew. Oh, let me give you the text-in number and call-in number first. 312-550-3914. Once more, the number is 312-550-3914. And call in, text in, whatever you want to do. If you two-shot a call, then please text. If you don't want to text, then call. And I'll be taking your texts and calls all day. And so yeah, let's get started. Okay, Maurice Jones-Drew is going to finally end his holdout and this saga is finally over. But I would just like to talk about how absurd it is that the Jaguars didn't give him a contract extension. I can't believe first of all, I can't believe he caved. But, I mean, good for him to be willing to go back to the team. But I still can't believe that he caved when he could have and should have gotten that contract extension, that big money contract extension. He was incredible last year, and I don't understand why the Jaguars didn't give him what he deserved. And then the Jaguars, he comes back to the Jaguars, and then the Jaguars say he's not going to start week 1. If he's not, it boggles the mind. You have probably, in my personal opinion, the best running back in the NFL. You have at least it's between him and Arian Foster, Well, that's a topic for another day. But you have one of the best running backs in the NFL who comes crawling back to you. You're paying him virtually nothing compared to what he's worth, and you're not going to let him start week 1. They're going to start Rashad Jennings week 1, and it doesn't make any sense to me why they would do that. When you have a running back as good and as talented as Maurice Jones-Drew, why would you start your backup running back? I don't get it. Why would you start Rashad Jennings when you have Maurice Jones-Drew? It's just, let's listen to some of his stats from last year. He had 1,606 yards rushing, averaged 4.7 yards. That's almost 5 yards a carry. That's incredible. 5 yards a carry. If I were a general manager and I had a running back that averaged 5 runs a carry the previous year, and now you're not going to start him week 1 because he held out for it was like almost 70 days. Look, I understand that you're angry, but why would you sabotage your team's chance of success? And I did my power rankings a couple of weeks ago, and I had the Jaguars in dead last because of this holdout. And I'm sure they'll move up a few spots because Maurice Jones-Drew is holding back, but not till after week 1 because he's not going to be playing week 1. I don't understand why they would not start Maurice Jones-Drew. And they're playing the Vikings, too. They're playing the Vikings week 1. So, my question is, why in the world... they can probably... The Vikings are probably going to beat them one way or another. You've got two... But why would you want to sabotage that matchup between Maurice Jones-Drew and Adrian Peterson. Both are questionable. Adrian Peterson, we don't know if he's going to be playing. He's still marked down as I think it seems like he's going to be a game day decision. But then you have Maurice Jones-Drew, who can run over the Vikings defense. I mean, the only person I see that could stop him is Jared Allen. But you're gonna sit him out. I don't get that. So that's those are my views on Maurice Jones-Drew. But some more of his stats. So on the receiving end, he had 43 receptions for 374 yards, 8.7 yards per reception, and 3 touchdowns. It makes his total of touchdowns to 11 touchdowns. I mean, that's not great. That's not a ton of touchdowns. But when you consider how bad the Jaguars are, it's pretty impressive. I'm confused by Jacksonville's decisions, but I would love to hear what you think. The number once more is 312-550-3914.
This NFL season,
Please text in. Sorry about that. Don't know where that came from. I apologize. But please text in, please call in, and we will I'll answer your calls, I'll answer your texts right here on In the Pocket. So that's going to conclude our first topic with Maurice Jones-Drew, and then I'm just going to go quickly over Seattle, and we're going to take a short break, and I'll come back and talk about the replacement refs a little bit, and then we'll get into my top 10 quarterbacks. So, on to Seattle. Seattle has slated Russell Wilson, former Wisconsin star Russell Wilson. They've slated him as their starter and traded Travaris Jackson to Buffalo so that he could back up Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think that Seattle made a very good move here, and here's why. When you have a rookie quarterback as good as Russell Wilson, and he played the pro style in Wisconsin, he wasn't, a wild card or, a pistol or some other, bizarre college offense quarterback. He was a pro quarterback in college football. When you get somebody like him, it doesn't, even though he's older, I think he's like 26, that doesn't matter. It's just, you have Russell Wilson, and you want to be able to play him because you know that this guy has promise. He played in the Rose Bowl last year. He's terrific. I saw him in person at the Rose Bowl, and he was fantastic. So my question is, I'm sorry, not my question, but my comment is, great move for Seattle. I think that what Seattle did here was brilliant. Not only are they able, I think Seattle's made a couple of good moves, and we'll get to the next one in just a second, but Russell Wilson was incredible with Wisconsin, and he's going to be starting for them now. He's going to be the Seahawks starting quarterback, and I think that that's a big upgrade from Travaris Jackson, because I personally don't think Travaris Jackson's very good at all. And so, not only that, but Russell Wilson also gives your team youth. He's a great leader, but you also have time to progress this kid and make him into a great quarterback. I think he's 26 or something like that. He's an older rookie than most, but he's still got it. I mean, he's still a very, very talented quarterback. He can do it all. I mean, he can be mobile when he needs to, but he's got a great arm, and he's got tons of promise in the NFL. And I think I don't think the Seahawks see it now, but I think he could end up being a franchise quarterback for them. We've seen plenty of there aren't very high expectations for him. The expectations got higher since he became the starter, but who really expects the Seahawks to have a good year this year? Because I definitely don't. There's so many question marks on that team that I don't see them having a good year. But Russell Wilson gives this team promise, and it gives them hope. That's basically the bottom line, is it gives them something to root for down the line. He's a talented quarterback. He's got promise, and I think that he could make it in the NFL. Now, the Seahawks also made what I would consider the best move in NFL history, the biggest train dodge in NFL history, cutting Terrell Owens. Now, I have gone off about Terrell Owens, and I will once more in a minute, but just what the Seahawks did, I mean, that took balls. That was a bold move to sign Terrell Owens, a future Hall of Fame wide receiver, and then cut him before the preseason's even over. And I love that. I mean, that takes moxie. That is pretty gutsy for the Seahawks to do that. And Pete Carroll says that, he'll look at Terrell Owens at the beginning or midway through the NFL season, maybe if he wants to sign him again. But why? Terrell Owens is a washed-up, no-good wide receiver who has no future in the NFL. He's like almost 40. So why would you want to sign him in the future? I don't, maybe if Percy Harvin gets hurt, but I mean, why would you want? Really, why would you want to sign Terrell Owens in the future? But here's the thing with Terrell Owens. He used to be incredible. When he was with Philly and Dallas especially, I thought he really shined in Dallas. He was great. He was one of the most valuable wide receivers in the NFL. But he kept on clinging to the hope of having a continuing NFL career when he should have just retired. He did what Brett Favre did, only people didn't really like him. Nobody really liked Brett Favre, especially after his scandal and everything, but people respected him. I have absolutely no respect for Terrell Owens. I think that he is the biggest head case, the most awful person to have in your locker room ever. I think he's disrespectful to the management. He's disrespectful to the front office. He's disrespectful to the fans. For God's sakes, he was fined a bunch for tweeting in during a game. I mean, who does that? Who pulls out his phone in the middle of a football game when you're on the sideline and you're about to go back into the game and, tweets, OMG, having a great time here at I don't remember what team he was with. He's been with so many when he did that. But LOL at the end of the tweet. It's like, what has to go on in somebody's head for him to actually think, oh, hey, maybe I'll send a tweet during a football game. But yeah, so Terrell Owens, I think he is the absolute biggest head case in the world, in the NFL. I guess he's no longer in the NFL. But has any of the listeners, and once again, I urge you to chime in. The number is 312-550-3914, 312-550-3914. I urge you to text in, call in, do whatever. Haven't gotten any yet, hoping to get some more. But anyway, the thing with Terrell Owens is he's not good anymore. He lacks the talent that made it worth having this guy ruin your locker room. I'd take somebody who's young, who's still good, who still has talent, but who can also perform on the field. I believe that locker room is more important. Like locker room, the ability to be a nice guy and lead your team. I think that's more important than whatever skill set the player has. But I'd look at a guy who may have been a head case in the past, but who produces on the field. I just said that I'd rather have a guy who's good in the locker room. But the bottom line is, it all comes down to production. Because if your team's winning games and it's because of whoever this wide receiver is, that's great for your team. It doesn't matter how much of a head case he is because you're winning games with him. And that was the beauty of Terrell Owens back in the day when he was good. But he's no longer talented anymore. He got cut by a team in the IFL, the Indoor Football League. The Allen Wranglers was the team.